Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at. It's Dr. Diane Sanchez, and today we are going to review team leadership. The overview of the chapter is team leadership perspective, the model, leadership decisions, actions, team effectiveness, principled leadership, and how does the team leadership model work. First of all, the historical perspective of team leadership research really started in the 1920s, and that began collaborative efforts at work as opposed to individual efforts. So human relations movement, collaborative efforts at work was research in the 20s and 30s. Then we started in the 1940s to study group dynamics and the development of social science theory. In the 50s, we had more of a focus to sensitivity training and T groups and the role of leadership in these groups. Much of the research done up until that point really was laboratory studies or of experimental groups, frequently ignoring the context in which groups were embedded. In the 60s and 70s, we began the era of organizational development and then focused on developing team and leadership effectiveness. In the 80s, we went through, of course, because of the competition with Japan and other countries, we were concerned and focused on quality teams, benchmarking, and continuous improvement. In the 90s, the focus was organizational teams, while still focused on quality, but shifting to more global perspective, focusing on organizational strategies for maintaining a competitive advantage. Organizations needed to be faster responsiveness and build their capabilities. Therefore, they flattened organizational structures. So a lot of research in the 1990s. Much of the research had been focused on the problems confronting organizational work teams and on ways to make them more effective. And effectiveness research, as you can see here on this slide, the use of teams has led to greater productivity, more effective uses of resources, better decisions and problem solving, better quality products and services, increased innovation and creativity. But the one thing that we have to consider is that for teams to be successful, the organizational culture needs to support the employee involvement. Many teams have failed because they exist in a traditional authority structure that does not promote upward communications or decision-making at lower levels. Teams will have a greater difficulty in organizational cultures that are not supportive of a collaborative work or decision-making structure. So let's talk about the research, the team research and the focus. Much of the research has focused on what I call the ABCs process in team success, team performance and viability, which means role in the mediating process such as trusting, bonding, planning, adapting, structuring, and learning. The functions of the leadership in teams, we focused on leader-team interactions, we focus on the process by which teams develop critical capabilities, the role of the leadership to ensure team success, and distributed leadership, team leadership capabilities. The team leadership model that we'll show in a little bit is really, it's Hill's model of team leadership, and it's based on the functional leadership claim that the leader's job is to monitor the team and then take whatever action is necessary to ensure the team's effectiveness. So that means the model provides leader or designated team leader with a mental roadmap to diagnose problems, to take appropriate action to correct team problems. And then hopefully effective team performance begins with the leader's mental model of the situation. And the mental model reflects the components of the problem and the environmental and organizational contingencies. So here's Hill's model, and it's on page 291 of your book. And it provides a tool for understanding the very complex phenomenon of team leadership, starting at the top with its initial leadership decision, then moving to leaders' action, and finally focusing on the indicators of team effectiveness. And I will go over in detail this. So first, the leadership decision model asks, should I monitor the team or take action? So the leader has to diagnose and analyze and forecast problems, monitoring, or should he or she take action to solve the problem? So this leadership decisions, all these decisions that we'll discuss, list major decisions a leader needs to make when determining whether and how to intervene to improve team functioning. And this first decision, is whether it is most appropriate to continue to observe and monitor the team or to intervene. So, as I stated, the leader can focus on problems within the group or which problems need intervention. The leader makes choices about which solutions are the most appropriate. And what this does is it shows effective leaders have the ability to determine what interventions are needed, if any, to solve the problem. All members of the team can engage in the monitoring, and then the leaders differ in timing of taking action. So here you can see that the mental model, the critical leadership functions, are both internal and external. And on the left, you'll see that the leader demonstrates some two dimensions of leadership behavior: monitoring versus taking action, and then focusing on forecasting environmental changes. So this is McGrath's critical leadership function. It demonstrates these two dimensions of leadership behavior: monitoring versus taking action, and internal group issues versus external groups. As leaders, we can diagnose, analyze, and forecast problems. That's monitoring. Or we can take immediate action to solve a problem. We can also focus on problems within the group, internal, or problems outside the group, which are external. On the left, like I talked about, the first two quadrants are internal operations of the team. The leader is going to diagnose group deficiencies, and in the second quadrant, the leader is acting to repair or remedy the observed problems. The third quadrant and the fourth quadrant focus on the external operations of the team. In the third quadrant, the leader is scanning the environment to determine and forecast any external changes that will affect the group. In the fourth quadrant, the leader acts to prevent any negative changes in the environment from hurting the team. So decision number 2 here is, should I intervene to meet the task or relational needs? So the leader can focus on the task, getting the job done, making decisions, solving problems, adapting to change, making plans. Those are task leadership functions, and this list is not totally inclusive. Or the leader can make maintenance functions decisions, which involve developing positive climate, solving interpersonal problems, satisfying members' needs, developing cohesion. The challenge is in virtual teams, and I know we had that as a discussion point. So many of you argued that yes, leadership can be done in virtual teams or virtually. And so it'll be interesting to see your perspective here. All right, leadership decision 3. Should I intervene internally or externally? Effective leaders analyze and balance the internal and external demands of the team and react appropriately. Is there internal conflict between the members of the team? Is the team goals unclear? And then external dynamics, is the organization not providing the proper support for the team? So those are the questions asked for leadership decision number 3. Should I intervene internally or externally? All right, so we talked about the leadership functions performed internally and externally. Internal leadership actions are task, goal focusing, we talked about that. Relational, coaching, collaborating, managing conflict, building commitment, satisfying needs, modeling principles. And then external leadership actions, networking, advocating, negotiating support, buffering, assessing and sharing information. The internal task leadership actions, these are the set of skills or action leaders might perform to improve task performance. And so, you know, is it goal focusing, clarifying and gaining agreement with the team, structuring for results, planning, visioning, organizing, clarifying roles, delegating, facilitating decision-making, informing, controlling, coordinating, mediating, synthesizing, issue focus, train team members in task skills, educating and developing, and then maintaining standards of excellence, assessing the team, individual performance, and confronting inadequate performance. So remember, these are the set of skills or actions leaders might perform to improve task performance. The set of actions leaders may use to implement to improve team relationships. It would be coaching team members in interpersonal skills, collaborating, which is including teams, involving them, managing conflict and power issues, not avoiding confrontation, questioning ideas, building commitment and, you know, esprit de corps, which is being optimistic, innovating, envisioning, socializing, rewarding, recognizing the team, satisfy individual members' needs, providing a trusting, supporting, advocating style, and then modeling ethic and principle factors, fair and consistent. All right, the set of skills or leaders that may need to implement to improve the environmental interface. Networking or forming alliances in the environment, gathering information, increasing influence. Advocating and representing the team to an environment. Negotiating upward to secure necessary resources, support, and recognition for the team. And then buffering team members from the environmental distractions, assessing environmental indicators of team effectiveness, surveys, evaluations, performance indicators, and sharing relevant environmental information with the team. So here's the two comparisons of theory and research. One is Hackman and Walton in 1986, and then Larson and LaFasto in 1989. So Hackman and Walton suggested that criteria was necessary for effectiveness of task-performing teams and organizations. They found that effective teams have to have a clear, engaging direction, an enabling performance situation that contains structure, support, and coaching, and adequate resources. Larson and LaFasto in 1989 studied real-life successful teams and found that regardless of the type of team, 8 characteristics were consistently associated with team excellence, and you can see those there. Clear, elevating goal, results-driven structure, competent team members, unified commitment, collaborative climate, standards of excellence, external support and recognition, and principal leadership. So clear and elevating goal. Team goals must be very clear so that no one can tell whether the performance objective has been realized, so that one can tell whether the performance objective has been realized. Groups often fail because they are given vague tasks and then asked to work out the details. Results-driven structure. What that means is teams need to find the best structure for accomplishing their goal. Structural features that lead to effective teamwork include task design, team composition, and core norms of conduct. Competent team members. What does that mean? Groups should be composed of the right number and mix of members to accomplish all the tasks of the group. In addition, members need sufficient information, education, and training to become or remain competent team members. Unified commitment. That is a common mistake, is to call a work group a team, but treat it as a collection of individuals. Teams do not just happen, they are carefully designed and developed. Excellent teams are those that have developed a sense of unity and identification. Collaborative culture means the ability of a team to collaborate is essential to team effectiveness. A collaborative climate is one in which the members can stay focused, problem-focused, listen to and understand one another, feel free to take risk, and be willing to compensate for one another. Standards of excellence. That means effective group norms are important for group functioning. Team members' performance should be regulated so that actions can be coordinated and tasks completed. External support and recognition. A supportive organizational context includes material resources, rewards for excellent performance, an educational system to develop necessary team skills, and information system to provide data needed to accomplish the task. And then lastly, principled leadership, which I think is extremely important. Effective team leadership has been found to consistently relate to team effectiveness. Leadership has been described as the central driver of team effectiveness, influencing the team through 4 sets of processes: cognitive, motivational, affective, and coordination. And that's our next slide. By the way, here is all the things that I've talked about: clear and evaluating goal, results-driven, structure, the core competencies, the right number of members, ability to do the job, problem solving, all of those things I discussed. Unified commitment, team spirit, collaborative climate, and then of course teams contribute to collective success by individual contributions, making communication safe, leaders rewarding collaborative behavior, leaders managing their own control needs, standards of excellence, like I discussed, regulating performance, stimulates a positive pressure for members, and requiring results, reviewing results, rewarding results. And then external support, we talked about this. Given the team needs the material resources needed to do the job, recognized for team accomplishments, rewarded by tying those rewards to team members' performance. And then, of course, the principle. Now we're here at the 4 sets of processes that I talked about previously. Cognitive. What's cognitive? Facilitates team understanding of problems confronting them. Motivational helps team become cohesive and capable by setting high performance standards and helping them to achieve them. Affective assists teams in handling stressful situations or circumstances by providing clear goals, assignments, and strategies. Integrative helps coordinate team activities through matching member roles, clear performance strategies, feedback, and adapting to environmental changes. All right, so how does the team leadership approach work? We always talk about our strengths, criticisms, and applications. Well, remember, team leadership is a model that provides a cognitive roadmap to identify group needs and offers suggestions on appropriate corrective actions. The model also assists leaders in making sense of the complexity of the groups and provides suggested actions to improve group effectiveness. The strengths of this theory is that it provides answers to what constitutes excellent teams. It provides a cognitive guide that assists leaders in designing and maintaining effective teams. It recognizes the changing role of leaders and followers in organizations. And it can be used as a tool in group leader selection. The criticisms is that the model is incomplete. Additional skills might be needed. It may not be practical because it's pretty complex and doesn't provide easy answers for the leader's decisions or difficult decisions they may have. It fails to consider teams that have distributed leadership where team members have a range of skills and where roles may change. There's more focus required on how to teach and provide skill development in areas of diagnosis and action taking. The application is pretty interesting. The model is useful in helping leaders make decisions, as I talked about. So, you know, what should the leader act, or how should I do something? For example, if a group is not performing effectively, team effectiveness, then the leader can make the first strategic choice by monitoring the situation or acting to improve team functioning. If action seems warranted, then the leader needs to decide whether the action should be directed inward toward team functioning or outward toward the environment, or both. And the other thing that this model provides is a team diagnostic tool. And I suggest you take that on page 313. It's Team Excellence and Collaborative Team Leader Questionnaire. And that's a pretty good diagnostic tool. So I know this was a big chapter to review. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, as always, please put it out on the discussion board. Thank you very much for attending.